Hey, welcome. Today, we're jumping into a super specialized, but let me tell you, an absolutely crucial part of the investment world, fund accounting. Now, it might sound a little intimidating, but we're going to break down how handling it the right way, or let's be honest, outsourcing it, can actually be the secret to unlocking some serious growth for your fund. So let's just kick things off with a big question. I want you to really think about this. You've got this brilliant investment strategy. You're out there raising capital, but what if the very thing that's supposed to be tracking your success is actually the anchor holding you back? Imagine for a second you're the pit crew chief in a Formula One race. You've got to manage fuel, tires, engine data, and race strategy, all while this car is screaming around the track at 200 miles an hour. Well, that's exactly what managing a fund can feel like, a constant, super high-stakes balancing act. And that pressure, it's coming at you from every direction. We are not just talking about balancing the books here, it's this nonstop flood of demands. Investor money is flowing in, performance metrics need to be tracked constantly, you're calculating asset values, and then there's that mountain of compliance paperwork. It is just relentless.
So, what are we really talking about when we say fund accounting? The key thing to get is that this is not your standard run-of-the-mill business accounting. No way. It is a completely different beast built from the ground up for the unique, complex world of investment funds. When you boil it all down, this specialized system is designed to do three things, and do them incredibly well. First, track exactly who put money into the fund. Second, calculate what the entire fund is worth on any given day. And third, make sure everything is transparent and totally by the book for investors and regulators alike. And this is where you really see the complexity. You're not just tracking capital, you're constantly calculating the net asset value, the NAV, which is basically the fund's per share price. It's the bedrock of everything. Then you're allocating income and expenses, creating custom statements for every single investor, and trying to navigate this maze of tax laws. I mean, look at this list. Each one of these bullet points could easily be a full-time job. So when you're faced with that mountain of work, the smartest funds out there are making a really strategic shift. They're not giving up control. They are consciously choosing to outsource this entire function to get a serious competitive edge. Let's break down how this becomes such a powerful advantage. It all comes down to these 5 huge benefits. You save a ton of money on overhead, you instantly plug into a team of niche experts, you dramatically reduce the risk of making a costly error, you can scale up without the operational headaches, and this is the big one, you get your time back. And this quote it says it all, doesn't it? This is the absolute heart of the matter. Your real value is in your investment ideas, in your strategy, in building relationships with your investors, not in wrestling with spreadsheets and compliance footnotes. So, how do you know if you've hit that tipping point? Well, let's do a quick gut check. If these next few questions sound a little too familiar, it might be time to start seriously thinking about a change. All right, let's walk through the signs. It almost always starts with growth. You're succeeding, which is great. But as you do, the complexity just multiplies. More investors, more assets, more trades, and suddenly your old accounting system is groaning under the weight. Then there's the question that keeps so many fund managers staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m. The audit. Being audit ready all year round isn't just a good idea, it's non-negotiable. And if that thought alone gives you a sense of panic, that is a major red flag. And remember, it's not just about the regulators. It's about your investors. They expect professional, accurate, timely reporting. If you start falling short, you can damage the trust that your entire business is built on. And that brings us right back to the beginning. Just take an honest look at your calendar. If your weeks are being eaten alive by operational tasks instead of focusing on investment strategy, well, the answer is right there in front of you. Okay, so you've decided it's time. The next move is finding the right partner, and this really requires a shift in your mindset, from a fear of losing control to embracing the power of expert collaboration. Let's tackle the #1 fear head-on, because this is what holds people back. The myth is that you're just handing over the keys and losing control of your data. The reality? A good partner works with you. They're an extension of your own team. You gain a whole department of specialists, but you are still in the driver's seat. So, what should you actually look for in a partner? This checklist is a fantastic place to start. You want someone who can handle everything, end to end. You need integrated tax prep, because that's a huge piece of the puzzle. You need support that can scale up as you grow. And of course, ironclad security is non-negotiable. And that last one, audit support, that's not just a feature, my friend. That is pure peace of mind. And look, as your fund gets more sophisticated, you're going to need more advanced capabilities. You start thinking globally. Can they handle multiple currencies? Do they have experience with tax laws in different countries? And for advisory firms, check this out. White labeling options. This is a game changer. It lets you offer expert-level back-office services under your own brand, which is an amazing way to scale your business.
All right, let's bring this all home. By making this strategic shift, you're not just offloading a task you don't like. You are fundamentally transforming an operational burden into a streamlined, powerful, strategic advantage.
So here's the bottom line. You can stop letting complex accounting dictate your schedule and your stress levels. When you get the right partner, it just becomes this well-oiled machine that runs quietly in the background, giving you the freedom and the confidence to focus on what you're actually brilliant at, growing the fund and generating returns. And I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. In the world we live in today, nobody is an expert at everything. The most successful people, the most successful funds, they know exactly when to bring in the specialists. So the real question isn't whether you can afford to outsource, it's whether you can truly afford not to.